stole that guy's pizza!
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Stardust here. Welcome to another Gotham Knights video here on the YouTube channel. Now, before we get started on this, I was going to cover the gameplay that we saw, the 60-minute gameplay, but I've got to be honest with you guys, didn't tickle my fancy too much, was a little bit slow, didn't really get me going, and because I'm going to be live streaming the game, which if you're new, make sure to subscribe, because, I mean, I could play some video games, I figured I'll just wait until the game comes out, and then I'll actually, like, you know, do it then. But we do have a cool little bit of IGN stuff here. Gotham Knights isn't an RPG where you start as a weakling. Now, that's weird, right? Because it's like normally in RPGs, start off kind of bad, and then you progressively get stronger. So, let's see it right here. So, Gotham Knights might be an action RPG, but it won't follow the genre convention of having your characters start as weaklings. Instead, all the knights will all be the powerful Batman acolytes you'd expect at the start of the game, and find their own unique ways to become stronger over the course of the game. Kind of worrying. I hope there's balancing with that, right? But I'm sure we'll see it as we keep reading. All four characters begin more or less fully adept at what the development team informally calls Batman stuff, with unique skill trees allowing them to blossom into different kinds of vigilantes as you progress. Speaking to us as part of our month of IGN first coverage of Gotham Knights, creative director Patrick Redding explained the thought process. It was very important for us that these heroes, our knights they're already awesome at the start of the game. So a function of them being ineffective as crime fighters, quite the opposite. They are all effectively graduates of the Batman School of Crime Fighting. So when they start, they are at their most similar, in the sense that they have a lot of these basic tools of combat and stealth, and moving around in the world and using their grapple. And then it's really over the course of the game that they fully diverge into their own flavour of what a Dark Knight of Gotham City should be. So it does seem like they're not going to be completely, like, useless. It just seems like they're going to start off as you'd expect them in, like, their own games or whatever. And then as you upgrade, you're just going to get better. But, like, even better, do you know what I mean? But there is a bit of a worry about that, right? We didn't want to do a dungeon crawler RPG where we send you into a forest to kill 6 slugs and return with your stick, explains game director Jeff Eleanor. These are ultimately very interesting people who have been trained by Batman and by others. They're very intelligent, they're very capable, but they still have this challenge of rising to the level of what does it take to protect Gotham City now that Batman is gone. There is an RPG progression, but they're not starting from zero by any stretch. They're already pretty rocking by the time you take the controller. Okay, so here we go. This is to talk about balancing, right? Because again, I was a bit concerned about this because I thought, well, if they're already going to be super good, what's the point of the RPG elements in the first place? This isn't to say the game will be unchallenging, however, but it's about managing the balance of who these superheroes should find it easy to take down versus bigger threats. We don't want you to have that moment where one bad guy in an alley with a baseball bat is going to give you a hard time. Eleanor continues, that said, there are some mini bosses in the game that are decently strong and you have to pay attention a little bit in the beginning. So, okay, so obviously as someone who's played a lot of Marvel's Avengers, right, I can sort of understand their point with this, because a lot of people didn't want the Hulk, for example, or Thor, or characters like that to kind of be, I guess the word would be kind of useless, I would say, but at the same time, it's a difficult one, right? It's kind of a difficult one, because you don't want to overdo it, right? So if you were the Hulk, yeah, realistically, you should be able to one-shot every single enemy in the game. I think that would be, I mean, yeah, like, of course. But that would then ruin any challenge that the game has. But the problem is with that is that the smallest enemies in the game can give Hulk a really bad time. Like a super bad time. And I have no idea why that is, or whatever. But then being able to do this and be like, guys, the little enemies aren't going to bother you. It's the bigger threats that are coming that are actually going to give you a hard time. Which I can appreciate that quite a good bit. But that is the end of the article. So essentially what this is saying is don't worry about your heroes being weak at the start to the point where it's ridiculous, but definitely expect to have that progression, which is fine, but it definitely moves away from the norm of RPG elements. Let me know what you guys think down below. Be sure to subscribe for more Gotham Knights content as we're covering it throughout the month. Thank you guys. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.